In 1998, one small South Korean company developed a food container that was 100% airtight and launched it on the market. It was an innovation of its time and on a different level from standard food containers that can hold in liquids and leaks. But consumer reaction to it was minimal, to say the least. But after 3 years, consumer reaction changed 180 degrees.
I have never in my life considered a brand name when buying a food container. I know, I plan on changing all of the food containers I own to this company's brand.
How did this company manage to turn around their situation and gain such a loyal customer base?
Hello, I'm Audrey from IGM. Can you guess the company from that scenario? That's right, it is Lock & Lock. This brand goes head-to-head to Rubbermaid and Tupperware and is ranked number 3 in the world. In the discussion of airtight food containers, Lock & Lock has become the household name in both South Korea and China. As of 2013, Lock & Lock exports products to over 110 countries worldwide and records yearly sales of over $500 million US. It's amazing that all this success can be attributed to a food container. But in the beginning, success was not easy to come by. Lock & Lock realized that housewives faced a series of problems with soup spilling and pungent foods creating a mess, and decided to rectify this problem by producing a food container that was 100% airtight in 1998. However, it was relatively ignored by consumers. The consumers of that time simply purchased the most affordable food container and did not have any awareness to what 100% airtight even meant. So what do you think? A superior and innovative product has been launched, but it goes unnoticed by consumers. Frustrating, isn't it? There are many examples of companies that face this exact same problem. So what did Lock & Lock do to overcome these obstacles and become the success it is today? One of their secrets was incorporating an airtight 4-stage marketing strategy. Lock & Lock made sure that consumers knew them, liked them, purchased their products, and came back for more. Let's take a closer look at these 4 stages. Regardless of product or function, if its differentiation is not known, nobody will purchase it. This was the problem facing Lock & Lock. The consumers of that time simply purchased the most affordable food container and did not have any awareness to what 100% airtight even meant. When considering how to deal with this problem, a buyer from Canada suggested infomercial marketing as a method to effectively promote the product's characteristics. This method was a relatively new concept at the time, as it was a combination of the words information and commercial. It refers to any presentation with significant amounts of information in an actual or perceived attempt to promote a point of view. The perfect channel for this type of communication was home shopping. Lock & Lock was able to make its long-awaited debut on QVC, the largest home shopping channel in the United States. The home shopping host went to great lengths to prove the 100% airtight properties of the container. A camera was placed in the container and dipped into the tank of water throughout the broadcast. Ketchup was put into the container as the host vigorously shook it back and forth without any of the ketchup leaking out. Simply put, Lock & Lock's debut was a huge success. It instantly sold out, as 5,000 sets of Lock & Lock were sold immediately. From that moment on, Lock & Lock conducted infomercial marketing on home shopping networks both in South Korea and in global markets. Next, Lock & Lock began taking measures to have consumers take a deeper interest and turn them into loyal customers. Through this, instead of consumers making rational decisions based on needs, they would make purchasing decisions based on emotional desires. A main activity that Lock & Lock conducted to achieve this was their housewives community, Lock & Lock Supporters, in 2002. Lock & Lock established this community to ultimately support the housewives. Based on Lock & Lock's motto, a happier and richer lifestyle, it successfully reciprocated to the growth in the community. Members of the community would share information on household tips. There were also classes on organising cabinets, opportunities for community service, and even an overseas tour program. Thanks to the generous support of Lock & Lock, this community now boasts over 28,000 members and is the most active housewife community in Korea. Naturally, this community was able to turn consumers into passionate fans of the brand. Through the community, Lock & Lock was able to monitor feedback from their products and gain ideas for improvements. Additionally, ideas for new products flooded in. In fact, the idea bulletin board for the community had over 7,800 ideas on it. The simple act of Lock & Lock supporting their main target consumers with various activities helped to increase their brand preference. Despite increasing awareness and raising preference over a product, if a consumer is disappointed for any reason at the point of sale, the purchase is lost. To counteract this, Lock & Lock devoted themselves to store management. They created display corners in all of their directly owned stores that showed the 100% airtight qualities of their products. In larger distribution stores, a separate Lock & Lock corner was set up. It was a huge difference from the other food containers on display together. The effect was that it added to the customer's brand loyalty to the product. In addition, Lock & Lock products were the first airtight containers to be sold in upscale department stores in 2009, further enhancing its high quality and differentiated image. After seeing the success of Lock & Lock, many similar companies began to launch lower-priced imitations of Lock & Lock products. If they were successful in taking away Lock & Lock's consumers, successful Lock & Lock would have been short-lived. Lock & Lock gave the consumers a reason to keep buying their products. First, they minimalized their new product development cycle to the fullest to overcome late market entrants and imitators. Lock & Lock also created various product lineups to satisfy the various needs of all their consumers. In addition to plastic products, Lock & Lock launched their porcelain airtight container line, Zen & Lock, their glass airtight container line, Lock & Lock Glass, and even their synthetic material airtight container line, Biz Free. By expanding their product lineup, Lock & Lock was able to captivate housewives like women shopping for new shoes. Lock & Lock used this same marketing strategy when they entered the Chinese market in 2004. First, Lock & Lock worked with CJO Shopping to get a foothold into the Chinese market. In other words, infomercial marketing was used during the awareness stage. The Korean wave was in full swing at that time, and Lock & Lock decided to emphasize the act that their products were made in Korea during the preference stage. There were 3 production facilities in China at the time, but Lock & Lock purposely re-imported their products to take advantage of the preference for Korean-made goods in China. Lock & Lock also reinforced the image of their products and instilled pride in their consumers by opening their first store in China in the most expensive luxury shopping district in Shanghai. As in South Korea, Lock & Lock continued to minimize their new product development cycle to the fullest to overcome late market entrants and imitators. Lock & Lock also helped form and support a Chinese government-affiliated agency to fight the war against imitation goods. In 2013, Lock & Lock also launched their Hello Baby luxury infant good brand. This created the perfect opportunity for Chinese consumers to come back to Lock & Lock for more purchases. Thanks to these actions, Lock & Lock now stands confidently atop the Chinese market. It is even said that Lock & Lock is more recognizable than the Nike brand in Shanghai. So what do you think? With a 4-stage airtight marketing strategy of awareness, preference, purchase and repurchasing, Lock & Lock was able to captivate consumers and become the success it is today. When faced with a difficult situation, don't give up and say, it can't be done. Like Lock & Lock, why not get the consumers on your side with an airtight marketing strategy?